Welcome, everyone, to The Deep Dive, a production of the Olive Grove podcast.
Great to be here.
Our mission, well, it's pretty straightforward. We take source material, we dig through it, and basically pull out the key insights, the important stuff, just for you.
Yeah, the idea is to help you get really well informed pretty quickly, right?
Exactly, and hopefully have a few of those aha moments that, stick with you.
Uh-huh.
So today we are jumping into something really quite profound. It's an ancient text, but wow, does it resonate today. We're doing a deep dive into Psalm 8.
That's right.
And for this journey, we're drawing on insights provided by My Christian Space.
And it's fascinating because this isn't just like an old poem. It's King David really grappling with God's nature, our place in it all.
Our very weird place sometimes.
Yeah, kind of counterintuitive, right?
Okay.
And our role, this huge responsibility as caretakers. What I think is really going to come through today is how this psalm, written thousands of years ago, speaks so clearly to us now. It really invites you, the listener, to think hard about these timeless messages.
Okay, let's do it. Let's start right at the beginning. Psalm 8, verse 1. David just bursts out with, Adonai, our Lord, how glorious is your name throughout the earth. The fame of your majesty spreads even above the heavens.
Wow.
It's this huge, almost overwhelming opening statement of awe.
It totally is. And it's the foundation for everything else in the psalm. I mean, it's not just saying God created stuff.
Right.
It's declaring his name, his actual authority and essence is supreme over everything. But the really key thing our source points out is that this isn't about God creating and then, leaving.
Oh, okay.
No, it stresses that his presence, his actual glory is actively with us. It's everywhere. Earth, heavens, beyond. It's not distant. It's pervasive. Right here. Right now.
That makes you think, doesn't it? That constant presence.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're taking in that grandeur, and then boom, verse 2 hits you with this image that seems, well, completely unexpected.
Yeah.
It says, from the mouths of babies and infants at the breast, you establish strength because of your foes, in order that you might silence the enemy and the avenger. I mean, babies. Strength. How does that work? What's that about for us?
It's honestly one of the most arresting verses because it just flips our whole idea of power upside down.
Right.
So what the material clarifies is this isn't physical strength. It's pointing straight towards childlike faith. That's the path it suggests to accepting God, to salvation.
Okay, childlike faith, like trust.
Exactly. Think about it. Babies, infants, they don't earn anything. They just receive. They trust their parents completely without question.
Total dependence.
That's it. And in that vulnerability, that total trust, there's this unexpected God-given strength. It bypasses all the world's ways of thinking about power and earning things.
And the enemies, who are they?
Well, the text understands the enemies as Satan, primarily, and also those who, actively reject Jesus. And the avenger, that's specifically Satan again. He hates God, hates humanity because he couldn't replace God. So he targets God's children, us seeking revenge.
Wow.
And the implication here is incredible that simple, pure faith, like a child's, actually has the power to silence him. And just connecting it forward, the source notes this links to Revelation 20, where Satan is ultimately silenced for good when Jesus returns.
So ultimate power flowing from ultimate dependence. That's quite a paradox.
It really is.
So after God's majesty, then this surprising strength, David kind of shifts his focus. He looks up Psalm 8, verses 3 and 4. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are mere mortals, that you concern yourself with them, humans, that you watch over them with such care.
You can almost hear the awe in his voice, can't you?
Totally. Like he just can't quite wrap his head around it.
And it gets even more mind-boggling when you really think about how God created. The source reminds us he didn't even need his fingers like we do for work.
Ah, right. Genesis just says he spoke.
Exactly. Just his words. For us, building something takes effort, time, sweat. For God, it was effortless will.
So David's question gets even sharper then.
Exponentially. Why would this unbelievably powerful God who creates universes with a word care about us? Especially, as the source puts it, the children of the fallen Adam.
After the fall.
Yeah. It might be, slightly easier to imagine him caring for Adam before the fall, but the source says it's more amazing than the stars in the sky that God pours out this meticulous care on fallen humanity.
Fallen, flawed, tiny in the grand scheme of things.
Exactly. That level of care directed at us, it's portrayed as just astounding. Pure grace, really.
Yeah.
It defies logic.
And then Psalm 8.5 takes it even further. Despite all that, despite our smallness, it says humanity was made but little lower than the angels, and God crowned him with glory and honor.
Whoa.
So it's not just care, it's elevation.
Absolutely. This verse really clarifies a key theological idea, sometimes called the order of things. God's infinitely above all,
Right.
then angels, then humanity.
Yeah.
So, yes, technically a little lower than the angels. Maybe sounds humble in the grand celestial scheme.
Yeah.
But, and this is crucial, what the insights emphasize here is God's character. He seems to have this tendency, this way of elevating the humble things.
Okay.
So the verse isn't just stating a rank, it's highlighting this amazing divine trait. God lifts up, he dignifies, he gives honor to those who might seem, well, insignificant from a cosmic view.
That's beautiful. It really speaks to God's grace again.
It really does. Seeing value where we might not.
That whole idea, elevation despite humility, is really powerful. You know, before we get into the next part of the song, which talks about our purpose, maybe we should pause for a second.
Good idea.
Because these ancient ideas, they aren't just, theoretical. They play out in real life through actual faith and service today.
Absolutely. Faith in action. And speaking of that, if you're looking for some really powerful, real-world stories of God working today, particularly through Enduring Freedom Ministries or EFM,
Yeah.
I really recommend the book Misfits for Jesus, True Accounts of People Experiencing Jesus. You can find it on Amazon. It shares these incredible stories that really show the kind of divine care and, well, elevation we're discussing.
Sounds like a great read. It really brings these concepts down to earth, doesn't it? Through people's actual lives.
Totally.
And Enduring Freedom Ministries, EFM, they're all about that practical compassion, reflecting God's heart, helping people in need. And their big project right now, it's really something.
What's that?
They're working to establish a food pantry right in Jerusalem, in Israel, directly helping vulnerable families there, providing food, hope.
Wow, that's incredibly tangible, feeding people right where the need is.
Exactly. It's showing God's provision in a very real way.
And look, every little bit helps with something like that. Your support, your generosity, it goes straight to providing that essential help, that hope. Yeah.
You can find out more, see how to donate, just visit the Enduring Freedom Ministries website. It's a really direct way to kind of put these principles from Psalm 8 into practice,
Yeah.
reflecting that divine care back out.
That's a perfect connection, living out these very ideas. Okay, so we've talked about God's majesty, our surprising value, our elevated position.
Right.
Now David moves towards our purpose, our divine job description, you could say. In verses 6 to 8, you had him rule what your hands made. You put everything under his feet, sheep and oxen, all of them. Also the animals in the wilds, the birds in the air, the fish in the sea, whatever passes through the paths of the seas.
Yeah, this is huge. This is where we see the implication of God elevating humanity.
He gave us responsibility, rulership.
Dominion, yeah.
Yeah.
Over every living thing on earth. And this directly bumps up against some modern ideas, doesn't it? Ideas that might put animals, say, equal to or even above humans. Our source material is pretty clear. That is not how God set things up. Humanity has this unique role, a stewardship role. But, and this seems really important, it's not a license to dominate or abuse.
Right. Critically important.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. The text is equally clear that mistreating animals is just plain wrong.
Okay.
So God calls us to be good rulers. What does that look like? Well, the ideal is to act like Jesus. He's the ultimate ruler, the good shepherd.
So compassionate oversight, responsible care.
Exactly. Stewardship, not exploitation. Using that authority to care for creation, reflecting God's own loving care. And think about applying that not just to animals, but, our environment, resources, communities.
Yeah, it broadens the scope significantly. Good rulership.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's also really striking about Psalm 8? The structure, how it comes full circle. It ends in verse 9, exactly where it started. Adonai, our Lord. How glorious is your name throughout the earth.
That repetition is so deliberate, so powerful. It's not just like running out of things to say. No. It serves as this incredible anchor. The source material explains that repeating this verse, this declaration, it helps us remember what God has done, especially, it says, as we go through tough times.
Like David himself would have.
Precisely. He anchored himself in God's massive power and his deep, consistent care, no matter what he was facing.
So the psalm becomes more than a song. It's like a tool.
Yeah, exactly. A spiritual tool for remembering, for refocusing our perspective, for just continually worshiping and acknowledging God's constant glory in everything. It gives you a framework, always coming back to that foundational truth.
Wow. What an amazing journey through just 9 verses, this deep dive into Psalm 8. We've covered so much.
We really have.
God's incredible majesty, his almost unbelievable care for us humans, and then this big responsibility he gave us, being stewards, good rulers of his creation.
It really shows the depth you can find in these ancient texts, still so relevant.
Totally timeless.
And maybe it leaves you, the listener, with a couple of big things to chew on. Well, first, considering everything we've talked about from Song 8, what does it genuinely mean for you, personally, to practice that responsible rulership in your own sphere? You know, your home, your work, the resources you manage, even how you treat people and animals.
Making it practical.
Yeah. And maybe deeper still, how does really taking in God's immense, surprising care for the seemingly small, the insignificant, how does that change how you see your own worth, your value in his eyes, your specific, irreplaceable place in this huge, amazing world he made?
Those are really powerful questions to sit with, questions that could genuinely shift your perspective.
Definitely worth pondering.
Well, we really encourage you to reflect on these ideas, keep doing your own deep dives into knowledge and understanding. And hey, if you enjoyed this discussion, make sure you subscribe to the Olive Grove podcast over on YouTube. There's lots more content like this waiting for you there.
Great stuff.
Until next time, keep exploring.